Mr. Callum, here's all the information available on Gordon Mosley. Put your mind at ease, this guy's a nobody. He has a full file on him, a background check.
2005, breaking and entering de facto's residence. Attempted abduction of a minor. Discharged from the United States military August 14, 2004. Conduct unbecoming. Court forced stay in a rehab facility.
Yeah, but Lucy, why was Simon running a background check without telling me?
Robin, why don't you just ask him?
All right, and in that clip you see Robin, played by Rebecca Hall, going through her husband's files in his desk, basically wondering why her husband is running background checks and being suspicious of his recent activities. All right, and welcome to Cody and Joey Reviews. I am Cody.
I'm Joey.
And today we are discussing The Gift, a little sort of, I wouldn't say independent, but a little thriller film that just came out. I thought it would be sort of nice to cover sort of a different type of genre. We haven't done too many thriller films, and definitely I thought this one looked really good. What are your first impressions of this film?
Well, when I saw the trailer, I noticed that Jason Bateman was one of the main leads, so I thought that was interesting because he's usually a comedian. We've seen him in Horrible Bosses, we've seen him in Bad Words, so this was kind of like a fun little turn, and he definitely delivers with the role. He's able to use like his talents to work for the film. I mean, he's kind of like a dry, deadpan sort of personality. I mean, in like all his movies, and he definitely like builds on that, and like he takes his acting even further. You also have Joel Edgerton, who wrote, directed, and starred in the film, and I mean, I felt like he was the best part about the film. I mean, you don't see him that much compared to the other actors, but I mean, every scene he's in, he definitely steals the show. He plays kind of like a creepy, eerie guy, and then you have Rebecca Hall playing Robin, who probably had, I think, more screen time than Jason Bateman, and she played Robin. But all three of these characters were fantastic, and I mean, I really enjoyed the film beginning to end. It definitely makes you think, and I think another thing was great is that like we have like the good guy and the bad guy, that wasn't absolute. I mean, there was definitely like a lot of gray. It wasn't black and white for these characters. I mean, sometimes you're rooting for the characters, other times you hated the characters. You really couldn't tell who was the good or bad guy.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed this film too. I think it is a very smart thriller, and as you mentioned, it's a movie where there's no real clear-cut good and bad person. It is shades of gray throughout most of the film. There are characters at the beginning that you sort of want to root for, and some characters that you don't think are really great people. And as the movie goes through, what I really like about most thrillers is it twists and turns your perspectives of these characters that you're following. I think it does a really good job with sort of your perspective of these characters. You talk about Jason Bateman. Honestly, I have seen very little of Jason Bateman. I've seen some of his comedic stuff with like the TV show Arrested Development. He had a small bit in Juno I thought was actually pretty good. Sort of anytime I really see him, he's kind of playing a jerk character. So I want to say I like Jason Bateman, but every time I see him, like, he doesn't want me to like him. And basically he's playing a similar type of character here. He's very likable in the beginning, He's sort of a concerned husband, sort of trying to start a family. But as the movie goes on, you sort of learn more about his past and, how much you don't really like this character. And you mentioned Joel Edgerton. I think he does a really great job here. He comes off as perfectly creepy and awkward and sort of things, and you're kind of suspicious about what it is he wants out of this husband and wife. But I think, again, the movie does a really good job at twisting your perspective about him. You sort of, you kind of like him, then you kind of don't like him, and it sort of goes back and forth, and I think it's just very well done.
Yeah, this is a film that I could compare to like Gone Girl. I mean, it's like a thriller. It definitely makes you think throughout. Every shot counts. I mean, there's little pieces that you can put together, and the ending is definitely like ambiguous. You have the option to interpret, the film in your own way. I think that's what I like about these kind of films is that it has that rewatchability. It has that value of owning it and just observing it.
Definitely, they had little bits at the beginning. Even Jason Bateman's character, I don't want to give too much away because this movie does have a few twists and turns in it. But definitely they have little hints, little things that Jason Bateman does at the beginning that sort of gives away his character throughout the entire film. And that's what I really like, a movie that can have great setup at the beginning that pays off well at the end. And definitely the ending is left ambiguous. It's a type of film I like. A movie that I love called Memento, done by Christopher Nolan, does sort of similar, where at the beginning you really like the characters and it twists and turns, leaves ambiguity, leaves it up to the audience, and certainly it's done very well here.
Yeah, I mean, the movie definitely snowballs. I mean, you start out, really small, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and just it kind of leads up to this climax. I mean, there were moments in the movie that, like, my jaw dropped from surprise. I mean, there were some insane moments, and I mean, I definitely don't want to give it away.
Definitely. I was on the edge of my seat, too, with this film. I think it's a very entertaining film. It's kind of hard to talk about this because we don't want to spoil the film, but definitely, if I had to rate it, I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's very entertaining. I was left on the edge of my seat for most of the film. It is a little slower at the beginning. It's sort of setting it up. It's sort of a slow burn type of thriller film, but once it gets going, it really gets going, and it's definitely very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, you light the match, and it just starts to burn slow and slow. And it's funny. It's like, I mean, I'm not trying to give the film the same score as you, but I also was thinking 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend this. I think this is this is a great thriller. This is one of the better performances we've seen from Jason Bateman, and I think it's just amazing what Joel Edgerton has done, being able to write, direct, and just blow it away with his performance.
Yeah, definitely. Considering the fact that this is also his first directorial film, I think he does a very well job at what he does, and I would like to see more films by him.
Definitely.
All right, and thank you for joining us with Cody and Joey Reviews.
And stay tuned.
You hop inside my car. I got pictures, got candy, I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star. I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. I'm your vehicle, woman. By now I'm sure you know that I love you, that I need you. I want you, got to have you shine. Great God in heaven, you know I love you. A movie star, I'm gonna take you to a Hollywood. But if you wanna stay just like you are, I think you really should. I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. I'm your vehicle, woman. By now I'm sure you know that I love you, that I need you. I want you, got to have it shine. Great God in heaven, you know I love you.